This is a frightening imaginary scenario. With that said, brothers and sisters, I fast forward to a day called Yaumul, the day of judgment, where many people will find themselves in that exact scenario that we have just described. Where man will find himself being escorted now to the court of the King, Al-Jabbar, the Compeller, Al-Aziz, the Most Mighty Allah, to stand before him to be asked about every small and big detail in your life. On a day when the tongues of people will be far too twisted to talk, and hearts would have reached throats in their exit because of fear. Imagine the difficulty of a day when you will have to defend yourself in the court of Allah and nobody is there to do the speaking on your behalf. Today, brothers and sisters, I want to speak to you about the topic of shafa'a, intercession. When somebody or something intercedes for somebody else, something vouches for somebody else, something advocates for something or somebody else. I ask a question: what are the various things that we can do today in order to prepare lawyers, to prepare advocates, to prepare shufa'a, intercessors, who can speak on our behalf on the day of judgment? Second advocate of a person on the day of judgment, the second lawyer, is the book of Allah, the Qur'an. And that is accessible to every single one of us. The Qur'an will be given a voice on the day of judgment. It will be speaking with a sound that everybody can hear. And some people will enter paradise, and some people will enter hell because of the book of Allah, the Qur'an. Thus the Messenger, alayhi salatu wasallam, he said, as Imam Muslim narrates on the authority of Abi Umamat al-Bahili, he said, recite the Qur'an frequently because it will speak and defend and intercede for people on the day of judgment. Are there any particular chapters of the Qur'an that we must give special attention to? He said, give special attention to the two surahs of the Qur'an, Al-Baqarah and Ali Imran, chapter 2 and chapter 3 of the Qur'an, because they will come on the day of judgment in the form of two clouds, or in the form of two canopies, or in the form of two flocks of birds, and they will be arguing for their people on the day of judgment. They will be arguing on your behalf on the day of standing. The Qur'an will have a voice, dear brothers and sisters. This is a lawyer that every one of us can hire today. In the life of this world, we may not have the finances needed to hire the best of lawyers. As for the Qur'an, every Muslim is able to hire that book, i.e. to defend you on the day of judgment. Thus, Abi Hurairah, the companion, would say, as Imam al-Darimi narrates in his Sunan, Abu Hurairah, the companion, he said, recite the Qur'an because it is the best intercessor on the day of judgment. He said, the Qur'an will speak and it will say to Allah on the day of judgment, the Qur'an will say, oh Allah, imagine you standing and in front of you is the book of Allah defending you and arguing your case, pleading with Allah to allow you to enter Jannah. The Qur'an will say, oh Allah, beautify him with the beauty of honor. So Allah will beautify you with the beauty of honor. Then the Qur'an will say, oh Allah, allow him to wear the garments of honor. So Allah will dress you with the garments of honor. Then the Qur'an will say, oh Allah, place on his head the crown of honor. And so Allah will place on his head the crown of honor. Then the Qur'an will say, oh Allah, be pleased with him. Oh Allah, accept him. Because this is the greatest ambition of any human being. Allahu Akbar. So what is our plan for the book of Allah? What is our daily relationship with the Qur'an? Wherever we go, dear brothers and sisters, let us ensure we have a copy of the Qur'an with us. Either in our pocket, in our handbag, in our rucksack. There is a strong relationship with the Qur'an and a 10-year plan with regards to its understanding through the Arabic language, with regards to its memorization, with regards to its application. We have a clear plan that we want to achieve within 5 to 10 years pertaining to the book of Allah. By doing so, we are preparing our lawyers for the day of judgment.